All right, champion. So I am really excited for today's conversation because today we have a very, very special guest with us. Yeah, she's a really special one. I'll begin by saying her name is Jennifer McCall. She is a graduate number 6 of the Peak Physique 180. And in our conversation today, we're just going to talk about really like everything beneath the surface of what it takes to create a true transformation. So, Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so happy to have you here. And it's really cool that you still like you have your peak
I
background.
I know I was trying to change it earlier, but I didn't.
Oh, yeah, keep it this way.
Oh, can you see? Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
now we can see the whole thing.
Okay. Well, earlier when I tried to do it, I was upside down, but I
Oh,
didn't know if
doesn't
it.
look like it's upside down this way.
Okay. Let me get my phone situated.
All good.
We could have done that before we started recording, but that's all
Yeah.
right.
Hey, it is what it is. We're authentic.
Authenticity, yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where are you located, your age, and just a little bit of who you are and your journey leading up to anything peak physique related.
Okay. Well, I'm Jen. I'm 44. I live in a small town in Pennsylvania called Harvey's Lake. Um, I am I'm a pet care specialist, which means I do in-home pet care. It is quite possibly the best job in the world, and it's absolutely the best job I've ever had. And um, I love being outdoors. I'm an avid hiker. I dabble in nature photography. So anything outdoors or animal related, it makes me happy. Um, uh, Leading up to the journey, in the last couple of years, I had some health issues, and being on so many different medications, a lot of them had negative side effects. One of them being a lot of weight gain, so of about 50 pounds. I had lost some of it, but I felt stuck. And I felt better than I had in years, but then I would see pictures of myself and I thought, that's what I look like? Because it's not how I feel. It's not how I feel inside. So I came across Erin Sarit, the ES Army, um, completely by chance. So I started hopping into some of the Zoom calls um, that you guys would have. And of course, I said it before, I was skeptical because there's coaches and more so there's influencers everywhere on social media. And that was part of the problem for me is I had enjoyed going to the gym. It was so good for me on a physical level, on a mental level, but it was starting to become overwhelming with all of the misinformation and so much information, but so much of it was contradictory, and it started to feel overwhelming. And I thought, well, this is not the point of all of this. The point is that it's supposed to be relieve my stress and make me feel better. And so after a few different phone calls with you and Erin and the group, it wasn't like one-on-one, just I really got a sense of camaraderie, of community, and um, I realized that it was very different than anything I'd ever encountered. And I wanted to give it a shot. I mean, it was an investment in myself. So, leading up as far as numbers, as far as data, I was at 155 pounds. Again, I was active, but I felt stuck.
Yeah.
I
How
wanted,
tall are you? Just to give a little bit of context for
I'm
some.
5'3".
Okay.
I'm 44 years old, and I started at 155.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to talk about what you created along the way in just a little bit.
Okay.
And I I love what you shared, and I like to have conversations where we extract the taboo because like we bring the real talk into this, and I know that you're very real as well, obviously, as are we. And you said that really what I understood you saying is that, you know, just with how life unfolded, you're on medications that, created adverse reactions. This is something
Hmm.
no one talks about, but that's what happens.
Oh yeah,
Um, and you found yourself in a place where when you looked at yourself in the mirror, you felt like your outside did not match who you were deep down. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
that's definitely something that I can relate with. That that was my awakening moment when I wanted to change when I was 12 years old, so I can relate to that. But what I want to dive deeper about is you've mentioned that you felt overwhelmed. Now, I want to explore that a little bit more because for the person listening, if you're health conscious, just like Jennifer McCall, I mean, when you started 155, it's not like you're like overweight or obese or anything like that. Like you're athletic, you just feel like, shit's kind of like out of whack a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And even though you were educating yourself, you felt overwhelmed. Tell me, what were some of the things that you felt overwhelmed about? And what was some of the misinformation that was floating around the stratosphere?
Okay, so let's start one with just exercise alone. Like I knew that there was a difference between working out and training. But at that point I thought, well, I'm not really training for anything. Like I knew I needed to move my body, and um, I had put together a workout routine, and with some help, from questions here and there. And but then it was like, you have to do the same exercises over and over, like get used to the mundane, get used to it being boring, focus on strength training. And then there was others where it was like, you know, the cardio is going to undo some of the strength training, focus more on cardio, less on the strength training. Um, your split matters, your split doesn't matter. You should be working out 5 days a week. You should be working out 3 days a week. You should be working out 7 days a week. It's just, it was all over the place. And then the biggest thing for me was nutrition. I love food. I do. I love food.
Who
I think
doesn't
everybody
though?
listening
Right?
or watching this is going to agree. We love food, but there is so much information surrounding that. And it's really difficult unless you have the time to do the proper research. And even then, again, you get contradictory um, information. Eggs are good, eggs are bad. I mean, we've been doing this our whole lives, like
Yeah. Yeah.
something causes cancer. No, it doesn't. It's going to cure cancer one day. It's,
Yeah.
and then you get into the more basic stuff, like what is healthy, what's not healthy, when to eat something, the fasting. I can't even, I just won't, I just can't. It's not good for me. It's not good for my body. Um, so I just needed someone to just sit down with me and sort of lay it out and not give it to me all at once. I mean, it was just so overwhelming, and that's exactly what this program did for me. I mean, it was broken down into steps, and almost like if you're reading a book, it's not like, here, just go read this book. It was, here's this chapter. Let's focus just on this chapter. But it was a summary of that chapter. So it was so much different than anything I had encountered before. So,
Yeah. 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 And for the person listening to this, just, have you ever felt, before you found the recipe for your success and before you found your tribe, have you felt like you're the only one who's like floating and struggling through this?
oh, yeah. I mean, I knew on some level that wasn't the case, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like, you're living with yourself. At the end of the day, you're really the only one that matters. Like how you feel, the way you talk to yourself, the mindset that you have, whether or not you feel comfortable in your own skin. And yeah, I mean, the people around me seemed to just know what they were doing and feel confident about it. And I started to lose that confidence about like knowing whether or not I was on the right path. Because again, at some point, like I started to see some changes and I started to feel better, but then I just felt stuck. And I thought, okay, now I'm here again already. And it felt too soon to be stuck. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good. So what were some of the things that you have done prior to the peak physique that still made you feel stuck?
working out sort of without a training program. You know, I remember one day in the gym, somebody said, are you training for something? And this was after I was well into PP 180. And they, you know, like you work so hard every day, like you're just so dedicated, and um, you know, you work harder, I think, than anybody else here. And like, what are you training for? And I said, I'm training my body. I'm training my mind. And they were like, they were a little surprised, you know, they were waiting for me to say like a Spartan race or a certain event. And it was like, no, I'm training to be healthier, and um, just, just training in general. And
Yeah.
that was one of the things too for me with this program. Like it opened up like a realm of possibilities that I forgot that I was capable of,
Mm.
because I've been an athlete all my life. But you know, as you get older and you sort of move away from some of the sports and stuff that you did when you were younger and you did it consistently, like once you're back at a certain level, and I'm not talking like Spartan race level. I'm just talking like, you know, you get yourself back into a groove, and you've been moving your body a little bit, and it feels good to run. It feels good to move and to lift and to twist and to bend and to, you know, it just feels good to move your body and to use your body again in ways that you forgot you could, you know. And then some of my goals that I had in the beginning, it was a lot less about the number on the scale. It was more about, let me see what else I can learn to do. Let's see what else this body's capable of.
Hmm.
And that was the really exciting part for me, because
Yeah.
that's what I got excited about it. I mean, I was excited from the beginning, but in the beginning, it's so mechanical. You know, you're trying to learn new things, and you're trying to sort of, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's, and just make sure that your structure is right. But then once you get that part down, you get to really play the game. You get to enjoy the game, and
Yeah.
then you're like, all right, you know, what else can I do? What else am I capable of? So that's when I initiated like new monthly goals for myself, which sort of broke up the mundane, or, you know, you have to do the same thing all the time. It's, you know, it's going to be boring. Like it doesn't have to be boring. It can
Right.
be fun. It can be exciting. And you know,
Yeah.
you're only limited to what you limit yourself.
That's right.
That's it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So when you started, so let's talk about the journey.
okay. It's a good journey.
It is a good journey.
It is. It
And it's
is.
been, I'll tell you, it's been also really fun. Like, because, you know, like Erin and I, we watch you guys from the sidelines, even though we're in the container too, because we're climbing our own climb. You know, there are some people who make it extra fun, and you're one of them. So let's talk about the climb. So you stepped into peak physique, you're at 155 pounds, and you actually completed the program in excellence, and you moved at the pace of the program, which is, by
I
the way,
did.
remarkable. Um,
Thank you.
yeah.
I
So,
had good coaches.
well, it takes a team, right?
It does. It takes a village. It really does. And I will take this moment just to give a little shout out, not only to my coaches, you and Erin, but to the community that that you girls created, because that's the other thing I learned. Like it's so important to have those people behind you, and not even behind you, but beside you. And like
Yeah.
you said, like you and Erin, you know, you're my coaches, but you were literally climbing that mountain with me and alongside of me. And like any good leader knows that they don't lead, they follow, they support, and they guide. And that's exactly what you and Erin did. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my accountability buddies, Missy and Dina, and then Mallory, because they kept me so accountable. We kept each other accountable. And, there's days when, you lean into the community, but just like any group or any community, there's always a couple that you bond with a little bit more than the others. And those women were that's what they were for me. And more than that, they became my friends. What I believe will be lifelong friends. So, I mean, cultivating new friendships on top of all of this was also amazing. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you began your climb. Let's talk about, first of all, give us some vanity related results.
Okay. Well,
What?
technically, when I entered, so I did with you girls before the PP 180, I did the 2 week shred. And I almost hate to not include, I have to include it because
Yeah,
it made such a difference in the data.
do it.
So when I started that, I was at 155. So when I finished the peak, I had lost a total of 17 pounds.
Awesome.
So technically in PP 180, I lost 10. I had lost 7 pounds in 14 days with that 14-day shred, which is wild. So that's why I think it's so important. Like I to include that, because had I not done the 2 week, I wouldn't have been in the PP 180, but I know that weight would have been included. So
Yeah.
anyway, inches, as far as inches, I did lose some inches here and there, but I increased my bicep by a whole inch.
I see it. Flex again.
Yeah, what's that?
Flex again.
Yeah.
Show us.
Yeah.
Hey, you see that?
Yes. So
Yes.
she went from a 10 incher to an 11 inch.
Let's go.
And at first it was a little off putting because I would, gain some inches, lose some inches here and there. But I sort of just pushed all that to the side because everybody holds the weight differently. And I could see the fat melting off of me. And my muscles became bigger, they became more defined, I became leaner, and I just felt better. So at the end I weighed 138. So like I said, it was a total from start to finish of 17 pounds. Inches, it might have only been like a total of like 2 altogether. But it's body composition wise, it's like night and day. Yeah. I I didn't get the 6 pack yet, but I have like a 2 pack, and I'm working on the 4.
Yeah.
But it's a start, and like we always say, it's progress over perfection.
That's
And
right.
so, as good as that data is, which of course I'm proud of, and I know that the data is important for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
but as I went on, that the numbers became so much less significant to me. Now, I've never been a scale girl. It was always if I felt comfortable in my own skin. And I do so much more than I ever have. But for me, the journey was more than that. It turned into something so much more. It was exciting for me. It wasn't like, oh, I have to work out or I have to do this. It was like, what am I going to do today? And how can I get better? And then, every once in a while, Erin would say, like, listen, boss up, jack your weights up. Like, what are you doing? Or you would say, like, you might be capable of more. So, which would make me, reevaluate not just my workout plans, but, my mindset, um, my my level of gratitude, and was I giving back to other people. It just became so much more than, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't even about that anymore. I mean, of
Yeah.
course it was one of the results,
Yeah.
but it's so much, it's about so much more than that. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. Okay, so you dropped 17 pounds, and
mm,
I mean, you know that, and you also just mentioned that 17 pounds, your body looks completely different, but really it's all about the internal transformation. Let's play a quick game of popcorn. Okay?
okay.
All right. I'm gonna ask you based on the phases, like what was your biggest takeaway from each phase? Just from like first thing that comes to mind. So, boot camp, what was your biggest takeaway?
Mechanics.
What
Uh,
about it?
I was still just learning the mechanics and the nutrition.
Yeah, yeah. So when you say mechanics, like what do you mean? Like learn to follow through?
That a daily accountability,
Yeah.
the follow through,
Yeah.
and the nutrition for me. Like that's when we started to. Oh God, that was so long ago. So I'm trying to think. For me, I break it down from like the 6 weeks and then into the ascent.
Okay. So
Um,
let's go base. Base, that's when we went heavy on nutrition. Base,
yeah,
big.
so that's big on the for me than the nutrition. And it was eye-opening because I had previously, like I said, when I started to feel stuck, I had made some what I thought were major changes to my diet, to my nutrition plan. And like I refuse as an individual to ever go on a diet because I know that diets don't work. They're temporary. That's why they're called diets. And I was trying to make some major lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And it turned out that, well, like I had good intentions, but some of those changes were not going to help me reach the goals that I had. So the way that you and Erin were able to break it down again into steps and into just like here it is in black and white. Like here's what's healthy, here's what's not. Let's eliminate all the bad stuff altogether. But it wasn't just like here, take our word for it. It was, it was backed by science and data, and it was actual true information. But it was broken down in such a way that it was just so much easier to understand, and it was just simplified in a way that the average person who this is what you do for a living, that it's your job to know these things and to teach these things, where the average person, one of the biggest excuses is, well, I don't have time to do all that. Well, now you don't have to. Here it is. Here it's the Bible of wellness.
The Bible. It's
the,
so true. It's so true. And it's all execution based. So
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Like as long as you follow through, I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, and you definitely provide the water. So, anything after that, it's just, it falls on the individual.
Yeah. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
All right. Ascent. Gut check. First thing that comes to mind with ascent.
Movement. Learning to train my body instead of working out.
Okay.
And that's when I think I really got into like the circuit workouts,
Mhm.
which were something for me that really helped change my body.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the problem prior to the program, is like when I felt stuck, like I was really separating like the cardio. Cardio was like just running or just the stairmaster, which is still my nemesis. But and then strength training, where now I do so many circuits, primarily circuits, that even during the week I have to remind myself, like, hey, maybe maybe go hit the machines
Yeah.
and get that strength training in. But it made such a difference, um, for me personally, and the goals that I had, and in changing my body. And that's when I really started to see the difference.
Yeah. 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 Love that. Okay. And then peak
Mindset.
mindset.
Absolute mindset, because it's a head game. It really is. And from day one it is, but again, from day one you're so immersed in like the mechanics and you're trying to learn about trackers and you know, you're just trying to learn about the game, that your focus isn't like, you're just sort of like trying to keep up. Like you're still working on like how to do rebounds, you know, like you're not even talking about getting in the game yet, you know.
Huh?
You know, we're over here practicing foul shots and you know, and then finally the coach says like, okay, you're going to go in, you know, and that's the peak. Like the biggest game you've ever played, varsity level, hey, you're going to start, you know, and that's the peak. And it's a total mindset. And there were days that oh, it was exhausting. And those were the days that I really leaned in. And I had never been so grateful to have a tribe of women readily, literally in my pocket, on hand. And because there's so many of us, and we're scattered amongst the globe, not even just the States, but the globe, someone was always there. And because we all come from all walks of life, like one, it usually resonated with 99% of us, if not 100%, because we're human and we have human problems. And that's really what it boils down to. But, you know, you get so many different perspectives, but it's just, you know, sometimes shit's just hard, or sometimes you just have a bad day, and that's okay. But when you have this tribe of women that, one, you don't want to let down, and of course it's about you primarily, you know, but there's this tribe of women that are really, they are counting on you, like, because they see you not just as some girl from Pennsylvania, you know, but their teammate, their friend, somebody that, you know, maybe helped lead them to where they're at, you
Yeah.
know. And so it's, you learn to embrace those human moments, those bad days. They make you appreciate the good ones so much
Yeah.
more. um gratitude was, again, with the mindset, how I spoke to myself, you know, my internal dialogue, the language that I would use. That was something that was, when I say drilled into us, I don't mean that in a negative connotation, but it was, there are certain things from this program, I refer to them as the gems of Erin and Sarit. And those things, on there's, when there's moments or days that I feel more challenged, I reflect on those gems. You
Mm.
know, like how you do one thing is how you do everything. Just, and that's just one example. And like leaning in, I continue to lean in. I think I lost my train of thought, but yes. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did. You did. And I want to go deeper. And I want you to give a pep talk. So you're going to give a pep talk to three different people. Okay.
Okay.
Person number one, because you've completed the program in excellence, right? Which means that like you're the cream of the crop. And that's true. That's why, I mean, you know, like you're here. So person number one is the person who is just starting the
Okay.
first 6 weeks. If you could give them any words of wisdom or advice to crush it in the first 6 weeks, what would it be?
Lean in, embrace the program, and be open minded, because it, even as well as you and Erin break it down, anytime you start something new, it could feel overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But it's literally every day is day one. There's another one of those gems. Every day is day one. So, and here's another one, we don't make mistakes, we have mistakes. So learn from that. Take
Yeah.
the lesson and move on, and stop dwelling on it. Because one of my favorite sayings, to when I, you know, I talk to other people, is there's a reason why the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not looking back.
Yeah.
So we take the lesson, we learn from it, and we move on. And that's what I would say. But the biggest one when you're first starting out is find a good accountability buddy that you resonate with, be open and honest about what you need, about your boundaries, and vice versa, what they need from you and whether or not you're capable of providing that. Be honest. Be honest with yourself, because the only person you're going to cheat is yourself. Like,
That's right.
you have to follow through with integrity.
Yeah.
Um, but you've signed up for this program for a reason. So embrace it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun. It really is, and it shouldn't be any of
Mm-hmm.
these journeys. Like, I think anybody looks at like these sort of life-changing journeys like, oh, I just want to lose 5 pounds. Like, it could be so much more than that, and it is so much more than that. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to do this. You get to do this.
That's right.
Yes, and that's a big thing to keep in mind every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hearing you say every day's day one, be open, lean in, and like remember that it's a privilege, which
It
is
is.
perfect.
It's an absolute privilege. Yes.
All right. Well, you know the mental gap when someone goes through elite and they're about to finish descent and they're about to start peak.
I do know that feeling. I do. I do. It's exciting, and there's some anxiety, and there's also the WTF, what did I get myself into type of
Yeah.
mentality. Like, I'm rethinking all of my life choices at this moment. Like, why did
Yeah.
I decide to do this? Yeah.
So for the person, this is for the person who's currently walking through elite, like walking through what you've walked through. If you could give them any words of wisdom, what would it be?
Just hang in there. Um, Absolute discipline over motivation. Like, there's no back door. Stop giving yourself there's no rewind, there's no going back. You can only go forward.
Yeah.
And by trying to rationalize anything in between that, you're only prolonging your
Hmm.
journey. So just one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Again, continue to lean in. And I think this is absolutely the most challenging part, for many reasons, and because it's basically perfection, and we preach progress over perfection, but every
Hmm.
day is still not going to be perfect. It's
Yeah.
Every day's not going to look the same, and that's important to know. So you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You just have to push through
Yeah.
when shit's hard, and that's when it's really the toughest. But that's what makes it or breaks an elite, versus the other guys, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And not everyone finishes.
Yeah, and I can't see, for me, I I told myself from the get-go, like, and it's not that it felt overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, it's so long, or am I going to be able to do this? It had been a really long time for me personally since I had something that I had done for myself,
Hmm.
invested solely in me, and completely followed through with it. And that's why it was so important to me.
Yeah.
And um and I was sort of like, the poor kid that was there on scholarship. So I there was no starting over. That wasn't an option for me, as far as that aspect of it. That back door was not only closed, it was locked, it was bolted, there was boards.
Yeah.
We were cementing it every day. So um yeah, for me it wasn't an option.
Let's talk about this. One of the things that we say is that every adversity also breeds with it a seed of equal or greater opportunity. And
Absolutely.
we're just talking about your tough upbringing. And at the same time, how did having the privilege of not being privileged and you're like, you got one shot and this is your timeline. How did that actually help you to complete an excellence and also continue to build momentum, because beyond anything else, it's more momentum than it is anything else.
Oh, it absolutely is. Well, for me, and this isn't a judgment on anybody else, because I know that there's some people that have chosen to start over for whatever reason, and I give them so much credit because the endurance that it takes to do that. But for me personally, it wasn't an option. And you can't teach heart. And that's what it took. It took me to dig down deep and really dig my heels in. And like I said, I just removed that option. And I think in some ways it did give me an advantage, because there was no way out. There was no starting over. There was no redo.
Yeah.
And so some days it wasn't pretty,
Yeah.
and it was, some days like I said, it's never perfect, because perfect is boring and no one wants that.
True.
But you just keep on keeping on, one foot in front of the other. Every day is day one. And that's what I did, you know. So yeah, but and like I said, and I don't want to give the impression, because yes, it is hard, and there's a reason why it's hard, because if it wasn't, everybody would do it. Um, but again, admittedly, maybe not the all of it, but there was so many parts of it that were so exciting. And so, like I said, it opened up like this whole, every once in a while, you sort of have like a breakthrough. And that's what keeps you going too. Whether it be, a scale victory, whether it be a non-scale victory. For me, most of those breakthroughs would happen in the gym. For me, it was about moving my body to the next level, but that doesn't happen without this or without
That's
this.
right. Right.
So, I mean, the mindset that was involved in that, and then just believing in yourself, because I mean, once you believe it, that's the only way that it's going to become. That's the only
Yeah.
way. So, yeah, I mean, just the major shift in my mindset, because from where I had started into where I am now, um, there's just been so much growth.
Yeah. There
Yeah,
has. There really has. And it's been such a pleasure to watch. So, what I'm gathering you say is give yourself no way out.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
just lock that door, shut it, bolt
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty hardcore, but I'll tell you, like it's the freaking truth. When
it
you
is.
wholeheartedly, not kind of like, yeah, I told myself option A. When you wholeheartedly like go into it and you're like, all right, like one shot, this is it. You're gonna create a certain level of obsession that will come to your dreams with you. Yes?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, with
And
all due respect, if I never see another tracker again, I wouldn't be upset with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, these things, they live with you. It becomes a part of you. I mean, it's more than embracing it. It's embodying the program,
yeah.
and there was, I didn't need people to understand why I was doing it. Just respect it.
Yeah.
Just because otherwise,
Respect
I don't
it.
know.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
I don't have room for you. I'm not explaining it to you, and my goals don't even care about my feelings. They sure as hell don't care about yours. Like,
So good.
like
So
you're
good.
not even in the equation, honey. So, yeah, just the one shot deal. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but yeah, that's why they call it a challenge. So,
Right. That's right.
yeah.
Let's talk about the person who is on the outside world. Maybe they're listening to this right now. Maybe it's your friends or, you know, um, maybe it's someone from the community, or maybe it's someone who's, is like, wow, this is an intriguing conversation. Like, not every day do I hear two women talk about like bolt your doors, like fuck your feelings.
Yeah, it's no bullshit. Yeah.
It's like just respect what I'm doing. I don't need you to understand what I'm doing. And, this is like, all right, like legit. What words of either wisdom or advice would you give the person who is hungry, intrigued, and also like you before and when you first started unsure?
Do it. 100% do it. I understand your skepticism, and I respect it. But if you happen to come across this, you have found your people. Um, in the truest, rawest, sincerest sense of the word. This is a community, like I said, a community of women scattered amongst the globe, badass women, like-minded women, and there's not a better community out there. To if you're going to start your journey, come join us. We'd love to have you. This is your sign. The universe is sending you the sign now, and yeah, it's just I don't want it to seem hollow because people say, oh yeah, this is my transformation, you should do it. Like, I don't get anything for telling you to do it, other than happiness, joy, to know that you'll be joining us, and this sense of self-value and self-love that you'll feel
Yeah.
from being involved in it and doing it. Yeah.
I want I want to know from you, obviously, like for all of us,
Mm-hmm.
this is so much bigger than who we all are, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
all together co-creating this movement. And what what does this movement mean to you?
Oh, it was definitely a turning point in my life. And had you asked me 6 months ago if I would have said that, I wouldn't have made that statement. Um, it means everything. It means I found myself again in many ways. Um, I've the transformation continues. Um, I've cultivated new friendships, like real life, lasting friendships. I've learned so much about myself and other people. Um, it's I don't have the words to. I can't put a value on it because it's invaluable. It's
Yeah.
I don't want a life without it.
Yeah.
I found my tribe. I found my people, and um, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What does the pursuit of greatness mean to you?
evolving, constantly evolving. I think to be great, there's a lot of moving parts to that. Um, for me personally, it involves sustainable health.
Mm,
It involves sustainable happiness,
mhm,
constant evolution,
mhm,
um, pushing yourself, but
mhm,
also immersing yourself into not only into this community, but into your community, into the world.
mm,
And, to use that greatness that you possess to help others.
mm.
Um, that's a really good question. Um, have I reached it yet? I don't know if I would say I could a level of greatness. I would say that there's definitely degrees of greatness, or success, but in many aspects of my life, I've certainly climbed higher to reaching it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, sustainability, harmony, and impact.
absolutely.
Love it. Love it. And if someone is happening to either listen to this audio or watch this video and they're intrigued and they want to connect with you on a deeper level, where can they find you?
Savage Sisters
Savage.
on the school app. Um, you can also find me personally on Facebook, Jennifer McCall. If you have questions about the program or anything regarding PP 180. um, but yeah, I would be happy to talk to anyone to help them out if that's what it meant, if it meant helping them get to the next level or to the next step. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure having you today.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure being in your presence. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch you climb all the way to the peak, complete the peak, and
Thank you.
you're officially an alumni. So, keep climbing, keep
I
pursuing your
will.
greatness. I'm super grateful for you. So, so proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
for those of you guys who are watching this, I hope that you found a lot of value in today's episode. I hope that you extracted at least one golden nugget, and I hope that you found hope and inspiration in what is possible for you when you give yourself no back door. So, Jennifer McCall, thank you so much for your time today, and
Thank you. Thank you. And to Erin. I love you both.
we love you too, and we're so proud of you. Much
Thank
love.
you.